What is going on, everyone? Thanks for checking out another video. This is coming to you from Williamsburg, Virginia, and the Golden Horseshoe Golf Club, and this is the Gold Course in particular. Really excited to bring this video. It's been a while since I've posted. Might have been the longest stretch, and that's because you're going to see this video if you're a follower of mine. My videos are usually, I don't know, 15-20 minutes long. This one's almost 30. I'm trying out a new style, new format, so some slightly different, hopefully better editing. Let me know what you all think. If it's great, let me know in the comments. If you hate it and it's too long, let me know in the comments. This is a growing channel, small YouTuber. I really take your feedback seriously, and let's grow this game of golf together, especially if you're in the Virginia/DMV area. My goal is to try and vlog every course, as you all know, so this one is a really special one to me because, again, based on the thumbnail, I think it's safe to say this might be my new #1 course as of right now out of everyone that I've played in the state. Now, just for some context, I have not played a lot of big notable ones yet. I haven't played Royal New Kent. I have not played, I really want to play the River Course, the one by Tech, Blacksburg area. So there's some really big ones that I have not played yet, but for the ones that I have played, I think this one is up there. There's a reason why this one's always on, top 10 lists. I think it stacks up against some of the big private ones as well, like RTJ and Trump. Like, this is a really, really good course. There's a lot of qualifiers and events that have taken place, and I think the one thing that I loved about this, because I have played it once before when I got married here years and years ago. Shout out to my wife, by the way. We did get married here, and fun fact, this is our anniversary weekend, and you know she's a keeper when she said we got to golf on our anniversary weekend. So, love you, babe. Kudos to you. But back to what I was saying, I really, really love the layout of this course. It really fits kind of what I personally like in a golf course. The two things that I personally really like, elevation and water. Some people might not like that, so if you don't, maybe this isn't the course for you, but this has some of the most visually appealing holes. The par 3s, bar none. These are the best par 3s in the state of Virginia. It might be the best par 3s, on the East Coast, in the country. They are amazing. Hopefully you check them out and enjoy. Also, little camera error on hole 1. So as a fun fact here, you can see it's going to start raining a little bit. The weather was really bizarre. It was raining, not raining, cloudy. It got sunny a little bit. I couldn't explain it to you. So hole 1, we were scrambling. I thought it was going to be my wife and I. We decided, the starter decided that there is going to be someone paired with us, so you're going to see him randomly here. We tell him to go ahead and break off so my wife and I can just kind of play our own anniversary round and enjoy ourselves, which we did. So hole 1, don't take, some of the camera angles here are sketchy, and yes, that was an absolute blade over the hole 1, but yeah, you're going to see it gets a lot better after this, and it doesn't help that it's just a casual double for your boy. Spoiler alert, I 3-putt right here. Do you see that ball fly? Again, rattled, it was raining, didn't get to putt on the greens, so a good old 3-putt where I blast the first one by, never a good start. And I think I had it up on the screen earlier, but I don't think I actually mentioned it. So I am playing the white tees today. I decided to scoot up, so it's around 62, 6,300. Kind of my thought process. It's cold, it's wet, it's rainy. It's kind of a new course because it's been years since I've played it, and it's an anniversary weekend. You want to play well, have fun. There's no point in trying to get your ass kicked by a golf course that's already naturally hard. So just want to let you know, and the reason I preface that now is because you see this par 5 and a lot of the other par 5s, they're going to look super short and super reachable, and that's because I am scooted up to the white tee box. But this might be, this might be my favorite hole of the entire course. Now, I know that might be a hot take because holes 16 and 17 are like nationally, globally ranked. I don't know. You'll see the sign later. But listen to my live narration. All right, so this is a par 5, the first one. It's hole number 2. You can see it's a beautiful approach. My drive went 300 plus because you can see this elevation. If you catch the speed slot, it just funnels all the way down to this. A very gettable par 5, as you can see. This is going to be a really cool approach shot. Just a gorgeous course. Guys, come on. Gorgeous course. Gorgeous wife there. Brownie points. Come on, baby. Do we get to do another golf trip now? Let's go. Just take a look at this, though. And this pin, diabolical. They hit it behind that bunker, and so, funny enough, my play here was middle green and try and fade it over. I ended up hitting that a little fat, so it was short, and I took extra club too. That's the crazy part. My thought process there was just anything over the water. If I'm long, then I'm long, but it was really hard to determine distances today because you can see from the weather, it rains, didn't rain, it was a little muddy at times, and then there was swirling wind. And then the temperatures, I told you, it was I think it was like high 50s, so it wasn't the worst. I'm a big shorts guy, by the way. You notice I'm in shorts. So I'll rock shorts until it's like 45 degrees. I'm a weirdo. But anyway, back to the round. What a good birdie, and I think that's almost a borderline must birdie for the drive that I had catching that speed slot. Now, when I told you earlier that all the par threes here, I mean, there isn't just any sort of cakewalk of a par three. Everything's going to have water, elevation, there's going to be bunkers protecting it. So again, this is where I was still trying to calibrate. I took about 10, 15 extra yards. And in fairness, I didn't strike it good, but it was really, really short. And you see the rain's coming down a little bit more, so I got to factor that in. But even with the rain and even with the conditions so far with the weather, the greens have been really, really good and pure. So that's something where it's funny. I was talking with a friend recently where this is not a knock on like the Herndons or East Potomacs or more of the public munis here in Northern Virginia, but when you play like a real good, higher priced, higher quality golf course, it makes you realize like, man, I don't know if I can go back to those greens because you're going to see some putts I roll today. They hold their line, they hold true, the speed is perfect even with the rain. So anyway, I'm just blabbering on. On to hole 4, a really cool par 4, and these flyovers, by the way, you can see obviously it wasn't taken at the same time I was. It's a perfectly sunny day as it's raining right now. And what I'm trying to do is just give you some reference points. So I use this bunker. Funny enough, this is such a bad habit of mine. My driver has been super shaky, and you'll see in the back 9, especially holes 10 through 10 and 11, yikes. But my driver's been kind of shaky, and this is such a bad habit of mine where on the driving range, I'll determine if I'm playing a fade or a draw. So I try not to think too much. I just take some swings and whatever's happening with the ball, I'll kind of commit to that shot shape. Now, not a good idea, especially if driver is a really bad club for you like it is for me, because that brings in two-way misses. And, you know, I do have the ability to shot shape my driver if and when needed. You'll see some of the distances today. I don't hit it far. I hit it 250, 260. I do catch, I think, a couple 270, but if I'm going to be hitting it 250, 260 off the tee, I better be able to control it pretty well, which I think I do. So I mention all that because some of the lines that I take, I'll try to call them out, but maybe you take a different one based on your shot shape. In my personal opinion, I don't think a draw or a fade hurts you on this course. You're going to need both off the tee. But for some of the holes you've seen early on, I've been drawing it off like the right side, right bunkers. Here's another example coming up, talking about a draw. If you're a smarter person than me, super short par 4, you can see it's about 328. All you need is like a 215 club and you'll have a wedge in. I decide, why did I set up that whole speech about drawing and bad drive shots? Because of that. I was playing it off that right side bunker, trying to draw it back into the fairway, and of course, we snap hook it. That shot tracer was a lot more lenient. This was like a ground ball to third. It was not good. And so I decided to play, because based on what I've seen from the screen, and I was using the grint throughout to try and figure out where the misses were, but I think to me, a miss left into that bunker is way better, because you can see on that right side, if you hit that hill, if you hit it long, it just funnels OB. So to me, I was trying to play right side green pin, trying to draw it over, and I actually hit it really, really good. It's kind of sad that I had to play a 9-iron into a 328-yard par 4 when you have driver. But you'll notice, and I told you, that's 2 really, really good putts now. I think we're starting to figure out the speeds. So speeds are getting good, high lines are holding, we're getting there. So hole 6, another par 5, and it's again 460 yards. I am scooted up, so again, for all of the internet bullies out there saying I should have scooted back, yeah, I could have, but you heard all the reasons why I didn't. Let's just have fun today. So it's a really cool hole because positioning, you could argue positioning on any golf hole, any shot is very important, but for something like this where I actually, I'm going to play this off like I planned it. I wasn't trying to draw it into that left hill, but it kicked back right and into the middle fairway. So it was actually a really, really good miss. I was trying to draw it more and hug the right tree line. And then this was just a really, really bad miss. I was trying to aim at that right bunker and turn it over, and we end up just hanging it right. It's not going to hurt me, and the rough here was really interesting. I can't put my finger on it. The rough was like thick, but forgiving. A lot of the times, like that shot right there, my ball was just like fluffed up and teed up. Now, for most people, that might be a good thing. It's easier to hit, you don't have to dig. But for me, it actually makes it really hard to control distance. It becomes a fly or lie. You don't know how to judge it. I actually launched that shot. Mark, stop. Oh, listen to my wife get hyped on me. That's why I married her. She's my biggest cheerleader, my big champion. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 2 birdies and 6 holes. Outside of that early double where we were razzled, we're playing very, very good golf. And then look at this par 3. I'm telling you, the best par 3s in the entire state. I mean, prove me wrong. Which ones have better ones? So this one, I take a lot of extra club. It was playing 174, and I don't have a rangefinder that has slope. I really need to fix that. All the par 3s especially, they're all going to be elevated. So this was 174, but because of wind into and the wet rain, I think that canceled out the elevation. So I was actually playing it kind of true, about 175. I decided to play it like 190 just to make sure I get it over. It looked like, oh, I can't believe I missed that one. I decided to play this like 190 because to me long was better than short. There was water, rough, and bunkers that were short, and I think you can take a lot of that out by taking extra clubs. So the downside of that is if you hit the long side of the green like I did, you have borderline an impossible putt, although I almost made it. That would have been cool. You just have a really long putt, so I'm really happy to walk away with a 2 putt when I think that was like a 90 footer when I paced it out, like 80 footer, so very, very happy with that. So here's another example of I told you where, you know, if you have both shot shapes off the tee, you will be fantastic. So a super short par 4, 313 yards again. People smarter than me, you don't need driver. You probably want to just take like a 200-yard club at those bunkers that I pointed out, and then you'll have a wedge in. I end up hitting a really, really good tight draw around the trees. I mean, you couldn't have placed it any better. The downside is, and you can see it's still kind of raining a little bit, we got 0. You can hear it squishing in my feet as I'm walking around. Yeah, there was 0 roll. It plugged a few times. So some of my drives, you know, I think on a normal hot day, I probably get another 10 to 15 yards, especially with how nice the conditions were. But, you know, you kind of just have to play the course for how it is, and we would adjust. Oh, man. That was a really, really bad putt. You can see it just wasn't even close and didn't move. Those are one of the putts where, like, I would bet my life it turns, and then when it didn't turn, I was like, oh, I guess you're just not good at putting or reading greens. I've been struggling reading greens lately. I really want to learn aim point. For anyone out there that uses aim point, learned aim point, can give me some advice on it, drop in the comments box below. Is there like a video? How did you learn it? Would really love to learn that for 2025. Maybe that's one of my New Year's resolutions. But anyway, hole 9, finishing up the front 9. It's funny, I get hole 8 and hole 9 confused. They're very, very similar. You can see it's like a draw, kind of a dogleg left. You need to draw off the tee, some bunkers in the distance. So very similar to last hole. I tried to play a draw. I end up hitting this one a little more straight, but it won't hurt me at all. I'm just in the middle of the fairway. And then this one, I'm going to lose sleep at night over this shot. It was a 115 pin, and I take 10 to 15. I play a 125, 130 shot, and I actually hit it very, very good. You can see my divot. It hit good. I am so short. You can see I'm going to zoom in on this because I thought I threw a dart, and then as I zoomed in, I'm like, oh, never mind. It's actually like 20 feet, 25 feet. The reason I'm like complaining about this, I couldn't put my finger on the wind, the rain, and the weather. Like, all of my distances were jacked up. So you're not going to see a lot of darts thrown, but hey, that's what you have to play when it's a new golf course, new conditions. I'm going to blame it on the type of grass. I don't know what type of grass they use here, but maybe I'm just not used to it. But long-winded way of saying good golf in the front 9. We played 1 over. I will take that every day of the week, 2 times on Sunday, a 1 over front 9 on a tough course in tough conditions on something I've basically never played. But of course, the law of averages kick in, and this is why I'm a higher handicap. You're about to see me get destroyed the next 3, 4, 5 holes, and that's okay. I guess my luck runs out. And also, some of these holes become a lot harder. I should have thrown up what the handicaps were, and that's a good old OB. But just take a look at this one. You can't miss left, you can't miss right, and that's a very visually intimidating tee shot. So, for what it's worth, I didn't know if my ball was OB since I've never played this course. So I played this as a provisional. I'm giving you all the update. It was OB, that first one. And of course, Golfer B is on tour. We hit a really, really good one. Tight draw down the middle. No roll, but you know what? We'll take it. So you can see the rain starting to come down a little bit. I really, really liked this shot. I decided I wanted to take, so this was about a, what was that, 145, 150 pin. I take a 6-iron. I choke down and play like a pull fade. I was trying to really carve it in there. It faded just not enough, and you're going to see why I'm complaining about that. So knowing the course, if I knew what I knew, you do not want to miss where I missed. I don't know if you can see, but do you see that I'm on the top tier of like a 2-tier green? You're going to see that I barely tap it, and you know, even though it looks like that just missed, that thing rolled. I don't think I could hit that any lighter. So knowing where to miss, and if I could play this hole again, I think missing, well, first off, I wouldn't go 2 off the tee, hit 1 OB, but knowing to miss short if it's on a bottom side pin, it's little things like that is where you're losing strokes, and so you live and you learn until next time. Speaking of knowing the greens and where to miss and how to hit them, you're going to see a couple examples coming up as well. But here's another just shorter par 4. You're going to see with the tee boxes I'm playing, there are a lot of short par 4s. The one downside of my game, and this is something I'll work on for 2025, I don't have a super confident 220, 225 club as I hit a driver like 228. So the point I'm trying to make is my driver on average can go 250, 260. It should be 3 wood. Oh, and by the way, that pull hook driver, that was god awful. It ended up just going into the next hole over. So luckily I have a punch shot here. So we punch it back onto the fairway, and I misjudged this punch. That thing sailed way past the fairway and into the rough. It won't hurt me. We still have a chip, but you heard me complain about how the rough, it was so hard to gauge. I had another kind of fluffed up flyer lie, and you can see that I pull. Not only do I pull it, but I launched that thing long. So not exactly a great lead for par. We have like 25 feet, and you can see the curves in the green. I don't know what I was thinking here. This was just a really, I think you all know golf's a mental game. Bad drive, bad push shot, bad approach shot. I was just frazzled with that putt. And yikes, that's another double. We have back-to-back doubles. Not exactly how you want to start the back 9, especially going 1 over. On to the next par 3. So what was I saying about the par 3s? Like, damn, these are just amazing. Super, super tricky. I'm lucky, knock on wood, and a spoiler alert, I actually end up staying dry on all the par 3s. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I hit all the greens. Nope, I missed the green on the first one. But I stay dry on all the par 3s, which is an accomplishment in itself. Look how tricky this one is. It's a super back pin. There's probably a good 40 yards.
All right, par 3 shot. You can see that I barely hung on. It's me. I might have to zoom in. That's me all the way on the fringe right there on the left. My guess is 90 feet? 100 feet? If I can keep this under 4 putts, we're happy.
All right, so anyway, I almost cut myself off there. Yeah, I think I was saying this was when I paced it off. This is like 100 feet, I think. You heard my comment about 4 putts or less, I'd be happy. If 3 putts expected. What if, oh my gosh. I thought that had a chance. I thought it had a chance for a 100-foot 1-putt birdie. Actually, it would have been a 0-putt. I was technically on the fringe. So if I can clean this up for par, we will be, we'd be getting away with murder there. You know what? I'm actually not mad at a 3-putt bogey there for where I was. Absolutely happy with that, but it's not exactly, again, the best start to the back 9. That's 5 over through 3. Law of averages coming in, kicking my backside onto the next par 4. So a very, very reasonable par 4. And you'll notice there's a lot of short par 4s, but there are a couple longer ones, 17 and 18 in particular. So they all do balance out. But this is another one where I think I've seen some other videos and people who've vlogged this course. You do not need driver here. Luckily, I'm playing my draw. Draw's feeling good. This is the shot of the day for me. It probably went about 265 and then 260, 265, rolled another 10. Really, really good shot. But if you're playing this and you're scouting it out, if you have like a really safe, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 iron that can go anywhere from 2 to 250, that's all you need to set you up. You'll have a more full shot into the screen, and it was a really diabolical pin placement. It was front side right close to that bunker. And again, this is one of those things where I wish I knew the course a little bit better, where to miss. Obviously, that was just a pull hook, but take a look. This putt is impossible. It's very similar to that other one. By the way, just a miss putt, not a good putt at all. That was the worst putt of maybe all time. And you're gonna see, like, I was so mad at myself because I had the line, I just didn't hit it good. This was the line I wanted to take. But the point I'm trying to make is you do not want to be on that top shelf. You don't want to have to deal with that hill. I barely tapped it and it flies. So you probably bring in a 3-putt bogey, as you see, a 3-putt in general, maybe even a 4-putt if you're on that top tier with a bottom pin. But if you remember, it was right next to that sand bunker in front, so you have to carry it. This is a good example of if you can leave yourself a fuller shot with your approach off the tee, and for better golfers who can control spin and maybe spin it back, that's a good example of you want to hit the medium side, top side of the green, spin it back, and you'll have a really good look for birdie. Next hole, you'll see how some of the par 4s start piling on the distance. This is to make up for all the shorter ones. This is a 420-yard par 4. I use that bunker as my reference point. If you have about a 230 carry or more, you want to take it right over that, and you can cheat it off. I decided to play a draw off it. I hit it really, really good. My standard 250, 260, but it leaves me with a really good approach shot. I'm technically in the first cut here, I think, and again, the first cut actually I didn't mind because it wasn't the second cut where it was super fluffed up, but the first cut was just enough for me. Oh, thanks, babe. Live commentary there. But you can see that the first cut like gave me just enough to fluff it off the muddy lie, but it wasn't like a super flyer. I hit a really, really good one to about, I think this was 6, 7, maybe 8 feet tops. So this would be a really good birdie to chip away at the really rough start of the first 4 or 5 holes. Can we do it? Oh my gosh. Did you see the pace on that one, by the way? If that doesn't catch the hole, that's off camera and down the green. My thought process there was don't leave it short. We need this one. Just pick a line and be firm, and it paid off. So very, very happy with that. This might be one of the hardest holes on the course, and it's not because it's super long at 600 yards. It's very narrow. There's OB on the left. There's random bunkers, and it's a really cool approach shot depending where you are. But you can see, look how visually appealing this is, though. I could see in the summertime when there's a lot of sunlight, maybe even in the fall when there's leaves, this could be a really beautiful course. But speaking of leaves and in the fall time, this was filmed in the fall, and shout out to all the maintenance crew workers here at Golden Horseshoe. There were a bunch working nonstop as I was going around. You'll see how perfect the conditions are. There's not a lot of leaves, not a lot of straw. The greens look pretty good. By the way, this was an absolute mishit that I'm going to play off as pretty good. You can see that thick tree in the background. That was my line, that shorter, thick tree. I was trying to hit a draw off that to turn it over, and we just leak one right. The good news is of not being a long hitter, a lot of these mishits won't hurt me too bad. It's just going to leave me long approach. And this might be my shot of the day. I should have highlighted this one. Into the wind, if you can hear it. I'm in the rough. I played 4-iron into like a 170-ish pin. So I took like a 190, 195 club, and I tried to play a low-cut fade, or I think, what does Grant Horvat call it? The squeezer. I think if you watched his video recently, I hit a 4-iron squeezer into the green. That's one of the things for 2025. Speaking of oh no. Mark. Oh no. Before I continue my rant a second ago, so what happened was it hit the pin, literally dead center pin, hit the lip, and then came out on the other side. You know, maybe in a casual round, people might say count it. On the vlog, if it doesn't hit the hole, doesn't hit the hole. And then here you can see, really cool sign. We are about to enter 2 of the best golf holes in the entire world. I think that's such a cool thing to brag about. So go ahead, Golden Horseshoe. You know, flex your muscle there, toot your horn a little bit. I'm actually gonna like walk over instead of a flyover of the hole. I'm gonna walk over and just show you this hole. I really wish it was a slightly better day. Even with the overcast and slight rain, this is still so visually appealing. But I'm sure you can imagine in peak conditions with the sun, everything trimmed nicely. I mean, this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous hole. Going into this, I remember the first time I played this course years ago. I put one into the water, I put one into the bunker on the right, and then I shot one long. So first time I played, and this was 4 or 5 years ago, you know, I was newer to golf. I didn't hit the green. My only goal here was to keep it dry. I actually didn't care where I landed. I just wanted to keep it dry, and we did. I actually hit a really, really good shot. The downside, and you heard me rant earlier, I do not have a rangefinder with slope, so I kind of had to guess what the distance was. The pin was 150, but I played it 135, so I took a full pitching wedge, and I still ended. Oh my gosh, I would have stole one there. I've never been more shocked in my life. It was tracking, then peeled off last second. Ladies and gentlemen, we will take a par in one of the top golf holes in the entire world. But what I was saying earlier is I kind of had to guess all day the ranges because I do not have slope. So I played it like 130, 135, and it was still kind of long. If I could go back, I would probably play gap wedge, play it more like 120, 115 to 120, and I think I'd have an uphill putt into that hole. But you know what? We stayed dry. Why am I complaining? On to 17. This is apparently another top golf hole in the world. Between us, it's a really cool hole, but I don't know why this is a top golf hole in the entire world. Maybe I'm just not a golf enthusiast enough to know. And you can see I'm actually trying to live vlog and show the actual hole. It's a cool hole, don't get me wrong, but I liked hole 2 a lot better than this one, the par 5 with the force carry. But the cool part about this hole that I did notice, a really, really cool tee shot that had a little bit of a force carry. It had the tight tree line that's super narrow. And then you can see there's lots of undulation in the fairway, so you're not going to have really a flat shot for your approach. And then the green, my God. The green with this pin, which was covered here, such a tough hole. Good thing I'm all district hands team and we get that one out. I hit a really, really good bunker shot. The distance control was perfect. I actually just leaked it right and spun right, but we'll take it. So anytime you have a putt for par on some of the top golf holes in the world, I don't think you can complain. So this would be an absolute, man, the flat stick was rolling today. And I think I just play a lot better when they're quote unquote real greens. I'm not going to call these public munis near me not real greens, but when you have lush, pristine greens that hold their line, run pace, roll true, I excel a lot. And putting's already a strength of mine, so it just got amplified after I figured out the pace a few holes. The finishing hole, and this might be my second favorite hole. So I think I have hole 2, hole 16, and this as a mix of my favorite holes. We'll just call them 1A, 1B, 1C, but this is a really, really cool finishing hole that puts you into the clubhouse with an approach shot into the clubhouse. So you'll notice I have the bunker at about 265. I decided to use that as my aim point and try and turn it over. Of course, I hit it dead straight right into the bunker. You can hear my wife say that's good as we saw it bounce, but then it bounced right into the bunker. You do not want to be here. This approach shot's already so intimidating. I hit a fantastic strike. So I take about a club and a half extra and I try to play a fade off the clubhouse there as the pin is on the right. I end up pulling it. It didn't fade, but we're going to take it as we do hit the green. Now, albeit it's going to be like a 50-footer, but we hit the green. Look at this approach shot. Look at the clubhouse, the little bridge, the water. This was such a cool hole, and it's always a funny thing too, where there are people watching your approach shot in. So I was kind of looking pretty cool when I hit the green from the bunker. If we can finish on a birdie, come on. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? We will take a tap-in par on 18 in front of the clubhouse, in front of the starter in hole 1 up there. We will take it. And you can see, of course, the sun finally comes out. It gets hot, the sun comes out, the weather is great as the round ends. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this is a top golf course based on what you've seen and if you'd go play it. And then last and not least, if you're still here at the end of the video, like, comment, subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. Comment on the video editing today if you liked it or not. But until next time, we're going to have the Kingsmill River course coming out. Cheers.